could see his mother's body suddenly tighten. "I have to admit that I am ignoring you," Esther the Black told her grandmother. And what was the difference? She had ignored her for years. When Esther the Black's own mother, Rose, was too ill with hangovers or the vapors or sadness, Esther the White had taken charge of the girl's upbringing. And so Esther the Black's childhood had been strict, though she rebelled. She had traded starched white blouses for schoolmates' t-shirts. She had ripped every ruffled dress, had even spilled soup on the silk scarves Esther the White tied around her neck. And when Esther the White ordered that the girl be driven to school in her grandfather's blood-colored Cadillac, Esther the Black still waited for the school bus, and she sneaked aboard like a pirate with a book bag. "Naturally you're ignoring me," Esther the White nodded in the sun. "Otherwise you wouldn't be young and stupid." For as long as she could remember, Esther the Black had disliked everything about her grandmother. The way she spoke, her slow, straight posture, even the way her long, pale hand reached for a silver salt shaker at the dinner table. "If I were you," Esther the White continued, "I'd be on the beach, getting some exercise, feeling the cool water on my ankles." The girl wanted to see her grandmother, who dressed in linen and silk even on the hottest days, climbing over the seawall, now that the gate was locked for drowning season. "When I was a girl, I was foolish. Although not as stupid as you," Esther the White said. Esther the Black tried to imagine her grandmother as a foolish girl, but she could not. She could only imagine what she had always known: strict orders through pale, wrinkled lips. Over the years, Esther the Black's feeling had grown. It had blossomed from distaste to resentment, and finally, like a clear white flower motionless in the heat, Esther the Black felt herself hating the woman who rocked so slowly behind her that the rocking chair scraped like claws on the wooden porch boards. "You were never foolish," Esther the Black said. "No," Esther the White shrugged. "I guess not," she said. And although Esther the White was never foolish, she had a talent for making others feel that way. Esther the Black could not help but remember the day when she was only 11 and had slipped onto the school bus for the last time. When the bus passed in front of the high iron compound gate, she had gone to the center of the bus, sitting among local children she knew from class and recess, but whom she never talked to outside of school, and whom she certainly never invited home. "Look who's on the bus," an older girl said. "The nigger." "I don't know what she's talking about," Esther the Black confessed to the kindergartner who shared her seat. "Yes, you do," the girl continued. "I heard your grandmother call you Esther the Black last weekend in St. Frederick's. I know that they lock you in a closet at home so that nobody will know about you." Esther the Black had no idea what a nigger might be, but some of the other children were now staring at her, and the kindergartner at her side was about to cry. Tears welled up in her eyes. "I'm Hawaiian," Esther the Black said quickly. "Ha," the older girl said. "Let's hear you speak Hawaiian, big shot." Esther the Black kept her mouth shut. For some time she had felt there was something different about her, something wrong. Her grandmother always lowered her voice when she called the girl by name, and it was always Esther the Black, never just Esther. And then, in the school bus, watched carefully by the other students, Esther wondered if black meant something more than the color of her hair. She wondered if it might be better to have hair like her grandmother's, hair long as white chiffon. But before anyone could call her more names, before Esther could cry, the school bus was cut off at the corner of Main Street. The Cadillac, driven by the hired man, Cohen, had swerved in front of the bus, and Esther the Black's grandmother was pounding on the glass doors with rings on all of her fingers. The bus driver had no choice. Who wouldn't open a door for Esther the White when she tossed a blue silk scarf over her shoulder and stared so coldly? And when she walked down the aisle with posture as straight as wire, Esther the White washed silence over every grade school child. "Let's go," she said to